And it is now my pleasure to bring in an old friend of ours. This guy is awesome. He's going to talk about the Southern Professional Hockey League. Before we bring him in, though, we got some video of his work that we want to present to you right now. Dave the Save,
Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to Game 4 of the President Cup Championship Series here at Berglund Center in Virginia's Blue Ridge, home of your Roanoke Rail Dawgs, as tonight they take on the Peoria Rivermen. Ladies and gentlemen, your Rail Dawgs!
And here is Roy Chambers.
That's awesome. As Dave the Save just gave it away. He is the former public address announcer for the Berglund Center, which is the home of the Roanoke Rail Yard Dawgs of the Southern Professional Hockey League. Mr. Roy Chambers. Roy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Scott. It's been a couple moments, but it's good to see you again.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's new and exciting for you?
Well, after the playoffs last year, I relocated back up to upstate New York to be a little bit closer to my mom, who still lives outside Oneonta. It was getting a little bit difficult to help her out when she needed it, being over 8 hours away. So I moved to the southern tier and living down here, renovating the house, traveling back and forth for work to Roanoke every so often. So staying kind of busy.
I see that. And that's, hey, listen, family first, as always. And, tip of the hat for you, man, for taking care of your mom. That's awesome. So let's talk about the Southern Professional Hockey League. Your Roanoke Rail Yard Dawgs are in the President's Cup final. So Tell us about their path to the championship round.
Well, they started out the season pretty well compared to years past, and started off on the right foot right out of the gate, which helps when they brought the core group from last year's finals run back. A couple guys did retire. A couple guys were out from injury and rehab from the prior season. It joined later in the season, but they played pretty consistently throughout the year and wound up fourth, their highest finish in the standings in franchise history, and that put them in the first round against Evansville, who they did not play at all during the regular season. It's just one of those quirks that the SPHL has. When the schedule was originally set up at the beginning of the year, there were 11 teams, and so one team usually gets scheduled where you don't see them but maybe once or not at all during the year. But then things got kind of thrown for awry when Vermilion County folded in the middle of the season, and it created some scheduling conflicts trying to get everybody their 56 games, and wound up changing the final standings from points based, which is typical in hockey, to win percentage as far as goes. So, but they played Evansville. They swept Evansville 2-0, and then they had a rematch last week in the semifinals against Peoria, who was the number 1 seed this year. And the team that the Dawgs lost to in Game 4 in Berglund Center last year. So Peoria won their first SPHL playoff championship. So that was a big hurdle for them. They came out on fire, Berglund Center, and won, went on the road, lost Game 2, and then jumped out 3-0 within the first half of the first period, and went on to win 5-3 to advance to the finals to take on Birmingham.
And tell us just briefly a little bit about Birmingham.
Birmingham finished second this year. They are a very fast team. They like to play a more wide open style, but they do have a defense that can control the narrative when they need it to. They've got 2 strong goaltenders, Hayden Stewart and Andrew Lotz. They both are in the top 10 this year in regards to goaltender statistics. Lotz got more of the starts, but Stewart has quite a bit of history with Roanoke over the years, playing in Knoxville, being more of a geographical rival. As this league is set up, as we've talked before, you tend to play your geographical rivals 10, 12 times a year. So he kind of knows some of the Dawgs from over the years that are in that core group and knows some of the tendencies. But again, he hasn't gotten as many of the starts. So it'll be interesting to see who goes for them, because he's got some better statistics, but he's only played 2 games in the playoffs.
Gotcha. That sounds a lot like the AHL here. Geographical rivals playing each other a lot. So,
Right,
but
exactly.
I'll tell you though, economically, it makes sense for the teams because I mean, there's a lot of travel costs involved, and if you can keep them closer, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Because
Right.
otherwise, you can raise the ticket prices, right? And who wants
Exactly.
that?
Exactly. Especially at this level,
Yeah.
with these teams not being affiliated in any way with anybody, they're, it's all, gate driven items here. So, any cost cutting measures they can do to keep things down for the fans, to keep them coming in the building, only helps. And
Yeah,
more.
absolutely. And Barry Shelley says hi.
Hi. How you doing, Barry?
So going back to those rail yard dogs, I mean, you got a couple of Central New York guys on that team.
Yes, actually, we have quite a few. At the top, leading the helm, Dan Bremner was at Oswego 2010, 2011. This is really 4.5 years for him, including the COVID shortened year. He's driven the team to the playoffs every year, including the year he took over midseason during his first stint here. And this was really his first head coaching job. So he's stepped on the gas and taken this program to bigger and bigger heights every season since he's been here. He's got a 121, 102, and 29 record. And like I said, he's made the playoffs every year. So he definitely knows the upstate area. And we had a little conversation when we were at a function with the team here when I was getting ready to move. And we talked a little bit about, the Suniac area and some of the other squads up here. And he knows the area very well. Also from Oswego, Josh Nenendahl, 2018-19. This is his 3rd year with the Dawgs. 26 points, very high energy. He kind of was more known for the physical style, not afraid to grind and take the hits. But this year, the hands got a little bit softer. His point production's been going up during the regular season and in the playoffs. And the line that he's on right now is, more of one of those, 3rd, 4th line grind type lines. When you get into the higher leagues where you have more players on the bench, where you can have a 4th line, but at the same time, they're one of our hottest, in the playoffs between him and Garrett Sargis and Lava Lee. They found a rhythm, especially last series, and they're doing both scoring and providing that physical presence to help establish the dog system and trying to get their offense moving forward and keeping the guys off the board. And then we got a rookie this year, Alex DiCarlo. He just graduated out of Oswego. He played 10 games at the end of the regular season, made the playoff roster. In the regular season, there's 10 games. He got 7 points, and right now he's got 1 goal and 1 point in the playoffs in this limited action there, with the 5 games that they've played there. So, the kids out of Oswego are representing very well, and they usually do, based on how that program always plays year in and year out.
Just saw Alex Utica this year.
Yeah.
And they played the Pioneers.
Yep. And then we got 3 guys, on that were on the roster, 2 on the playoff roster from Morrisville. Christian Novella, he was 2nd year in. He had a little bit of a tough season with some injuries and such, but he put up 8 points for us, didn't make the playoff roster, but he was a very big presence on the ice, off the stat sheet as well. CJ Stubbs, 3rd year, kind of a quiet season compared to last year. I remember saying his name a lot on the goal scoring side. He's been hitting the stat sheets more on the assists this year. He was 9th in the league in assists, wound up with 47 points. Playoffs, he's got 3 points already in a game-winning goal. One of those veteran leaders that some of these younger guys are leaning on. And then we come to Nick DeVito, also from Morrisville, 1920 was his last year there. 36 points, 3 game-winning goals, regular season. In the playoffs, he is number 1 in goals, points, shorthanded goals, and 2nd in plus minus. And he's just got, to steal or paraphrase our broadcaster, Mitch Stewart, probably the hottest guy in the league right now as far as playoffs were concerned last week and coming into the finals. So upstate New York is, in central New York in particular, is very well representative as far as college products that are going on to the professional levels.
I see that. I tell you, I mean, Nick DeVito's got to be considered an MVP of the playoffs.
It's looking like it. Again, he's hitting his stride. He had, and realistically, the 5 goals that he's gotten so far in the playoffs have come in the last 2 games. He had a hat trick in the loss in game 2 and added 2 more in the series clincher the other night. So if he keeps it up and can stay consistent, then I don't think you can argue against that one way or the other. And, flipping the script there, going back to the Birmingham side, they've got a few guys too from, that are products from colleges in the central New York area. Another Oswego guy, Mike Gillespie, that kid's been lights out all year. 7th in the league overall scoring, and this is really his rookie season. From what I could see, he hadn't played professionally anywhere. He took a couple of years off or something to that effect, but came in this year. 27 goals, 33 assists, plus 24 in the regular season. And that's in 56 games. He's 3rd in the league in goals, and in the playoffs, he's tied for 3rd in points, 2nd in power play goals, and 1st in power play points. And he's, not too far out of Oswego from 1920. Another kid that's really on fire for them, Scott Donahue, 17-18 out of Cortland. This is his 2nd year in Birmingham. 26 points plus 20. And in the playoffs, he's also tied for 3rd for points as well. So, those 2 guys are really finding the back of the net all year and seem to fit into their run and gun type style that you hear them playing. They also have a Cornell graduate in Hayden Stewart, one of the goaltenders I mentioned earlier. 2.71, 905 save percentage, 12-8-1 this year with 3 shutouts. Like I said, he's a steady veteran for them. And then a rookie demon out of Brockport, Ryan Romeo. This is his first full year, plus 15. He's had 2 call-ups this year to the ECHL. He was 7th in plus minus as far as defensemen were concerned. So they're pretty stout, these kids coming out of there, like I said before, and their coaches aren't afraid to lean on these kids to reach their objectives and push through the President's Cup playoffs and the finals.
You're absolutely right about that. And, the Rail Yard Dogs did have another Oswego product. He's up with the Adirondack, the ECHL right now, Travis Broman.
Yes. He started out lights out for us. He was probably one of the hottest players in the league in the beginning of the year until he got called up. Had a feeling we weren't going to see him back, just based on how quickly he adapted up there in Adirondack, and actually brought up one of our D-men to Adirondack as well too. But we had guys that could step in, and Coach Dan found some guys that were able to fill in and bring in some of these new guys and make a couple trades, and they haven't missed a beat, even though it would have been nice to have them come playoff time.
Sorry about your picture that just fell.
Yeah,
charge the damages to My Little Falls.
No,
Okay.
that's
all right.
no. I tell you, we'll put the it's the little things framed up there for you.
That's right.
We can do that.
Yeah, that one of those things that probably wasn't put up. It was put up in a rush type deal during the home remodel here, and just adding to the project.
It's hilarious.
He's a true pro though, because he just kept going right through it, not even rattled by it. And I'm just going to keep going.
After the past 5 years, being a public address announcer and having the years of experience before that as well too, things go around you all the time, so you just kind of learn to tune other things out and just make sure that you're safe and keep on going.
And for anybody listening, just listening to the podcast, a picture just fell off the wall right behind Roy.
And Roy just kept talking. It was great. Didn't even turn his head. He just nope.
That's good.
Straight ahead.
That's good stuff.
But in all seriousness too, though, I mean, that's what's great about the SPHL. It's really providing a chance for a lot of good players to play. Jordy, you got some numbers from some Utica players that are down there.
I sure do. So, of the 4 currently getting time in the SPHL, you have Lucas Herman logging 7 games over the regular season, seeing 6 points, 4 of those being goals, and logging 1 plus minus. In the playoffs, he did log 2 games. The only stat he got was 2 penalty minutes, but he's still in the lineup making some sort of, I don't want to say he's making some sort of, what's the word? Some sort of impact, but he's there. Mick Curran hasn't seen time.
Contributing.
Yes, thank you. Mick Curran hasn't seen time.
I was going to throw all kinds of words at him.
I was like, what's he wanting us to say here?
Now, Mick Curran hasn't seen much time. He only played 4 games in the regular season. He hasn't seen any playoff action. But John Monkovich has. He had 5 games in the regular season, logging 5 points, 1 of those goals, and a 4 plus minus. And then in the playoffs, he saw 3 games with his only stat log being a minus 2 plus minus. And then Brandon Osmondson, like Mick Curran, hasn't seen any playoff time, and he didn't see much regular season time. So he's just there right now.
Yeah. He was a pretty late signing, though.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot of those,
he came in
a lot
late.
of those guys were signed, after their season was done.
Right.
And the SPHL does have a period where you can sign some of these guys as rookies to get a feel for them.
Right.
To get a little bit of a head start on the recruiting for next season. So.
Yeah, because as I recall, like Monkovic, Herman, and Curran, they all, as soon as Utica season's over, within days, they were signing, and Ozzy was like a week or so afterwards. Jamie Bussell is still in Huntsville as well. So,
yeah, Birmingham just eliminated Huntsville to advance to the finals.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll tell you, it really is. It's so nice to see because, here's the thing, like, obviously Division I gets a lot of attention. It's great hockey. It is, but Division III is fantastic hockey too. And if you ask me, I've said this before and I'll say it again, Division III hockey is just growing leaps and bounds. It really is. And as you can see in the SPHL, the quality of players that are coming out of Division III.
Right. And it's, the SPHL is a nice league too, because it kind of gives them that taste of that professional feel a little bit and lets them, some of these guys that are playing the D3 level and going into, in the professional ranks, some of them come out lights out. Other guys are developing slower, but then you see those guys that came on a little bit slower, spend a year or 2 in the SP, and then they start working their way up the ladder. Just gets them that, builds a little bit more confidence to, get that game up to where they need to be to take that next step and potentially go on to bigger and better things. I know there's been quite a few that have made it to the AHL level. Not too many have made it to the NHL level yet, but, from the SPHL. But the way the league is going and the talent that they're bringing in here, maybe that's going to change here in a few years. Maybe get a couple more work their way up through the system.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. So let's see. The President's Cup, that starts tomorrow night, correct?
Tomorrow night. Games 1 and 2 are tomorrow and Friday down in Birmingham in the Pelham Center. Then they come back for game 3 on Monday night in the Berglund Center. Game 4, if necessary, is Tuesday. And I want to say game 5 is necessary is Friday back in Birmingham.
Let's see. I've got that one right here. Give me, Dave, if you want to pull up that graphic we got there too, just from right now. Here's the final preview. Right, and this is a great graphic you sent us. I love because it spells it right out, right there in in blue, white, and yellow.
Can't tell which team that came from at all. Can you?
No, not at all.
Gray and red and black.
But again, like we were talking earlier. I mean, there's DeVito, there's Nenadal. And you've got Gillespie on there and Donahue. These are guys that we've talked about. Coming out of Central New York and playing college hockey in Central New York, and they're right up there on the leaders on those stat lists. So, and then Hayden Stewart down there with the goaltenders. And I apologize, it's Austin Lotz. Had the wrong first name earlier, but again, there's a lot of talent coming out of Central New York that's represented in this President's Cup final. I think it's going to be a battle. These two teams, they couldn't be, stat wise, everybody looks at, the stats and the lineups and things like that. I mean, they played each other 4 times. Birmingham went 2-2. Roanoke went 2-0-1. Dawgs won the first 2 in Roanoke. Birmingham won the third, and then down in Birmingham, Roanoke lost in the shootout. Total goals for the 4 games: Roanoke 16, Birmingham 14. So very close series all the way around there. Goals for: Birmingham was 3rd in the league, Roanoke 5th. Goals against: Roanoke 3rd, Birmingham 4th. Power play: Birmingham was 6th, Roanoke 9th. Penalty kill: Roanoke 7th, Birmingham 9th. So again, they're right there. They're right around each other all the way around. I think it's going to be a great, exciting matchup, and it's going to be one of those series that whoever takes advantage of the mistakes and allows the fewest mistakes is the one that's going to come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. You going to be down there Monday night for game 3?
No, unfortunately, I'll be back up here. Too much to do up here. I'm actually traveling while they're on the road. I got to go back this weekend. So, but I'll be there in spirit. I'll probably be watching on Hockey TV and watching online. If I can't watch, if I'm working around the house, I'll be listening.
Now you got a picture to fix thanks to us.
Yeah, I got a picture to fix.
It's the big hole in the wall. It's going to take a while. Little spackle.
And if I can't watch, I'll be listening to Mitch Stewart on the internet, and he does a phenomenal job with his second year out of Penn State broadcasting for us. He's a local boy, grew up in Roanoke, and he is lights out. He's phenomenal to listen to.
Yeah, and that's at railyarddogs.com, it looks like.
Yes, that is correct.
So, yeah, if you want to listen to that, you said Hockey TV for
Hockey TV. Unfortunately, they do not have any subscriptions just for the finals that I can find.
You got to buy the whole thing. Yeah.
But I do know, up in this area and across the regions there, some of these junior teams, some of their stuff is already on there for parents and stuff that are watching their juniors online. If they can't make the game. So, that's that same subscription. I think you get access to it all. If you have your junior subscription, you can watch some of the action from the President's Cup final as well on Hockey TV.
Yeah, and that's really cool too, because I mean, you get to see all kinds of different hockey. It's really awesome. It is.
Exactly.
Barry just let us know that there's a Stanley Cup update. He said Florida leads Boston at the end of 1-0. So AJ Greer and the Boston Bruins, former Utica Comet AJ Greer, down 1-0 to the Florida Panthers. We'll see what happens there, but I don't think it looks very good for Florida overall. But you never know. That's why they play the games.
Doesn't look good. They're up 1-0. All right.
Yeah, well, they're down 3-1 in the series.
I know, but still,
Yeah.
And I'd also switching gears just real quick. I'd be remiss too if I didn't mention another Central New York college product by the name of Brant Sherwood. Played with the Dawgs the last couple of years of his career, retired last year. Replaced Coach Gill down in Binghamton in the SPHL around Christmas time. And he has gotten the team into the playoffs down there. And I know they're starting their second round matchups. First time Binghamton has made it out of the first round of the playoffs since Binghamton Senators won the Calder Cup in 2011. So Binghamton's a buzz about that. They're playing in Binghamton on Friday, and then go to Danbury on Saturday. So I know he's done some things down there and turned loose. I know at least 2 games where they had over 70 shots on goal since he's taken over. So they're playing some exciting hockey down there and as well. And it's good to see him get a little bit of success on the other side of the bench. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard nothing but good things about Binghamton, the Federal League there. And, it's pretty cool. Someday I hope they do get an AHL team back because they do deserve to have one. And, hopefully it'll work out for them someday. But, in the meantime, hey, go Bears. So
that's right.
All right. Well, Roy, this has been so much fun. I love having you on the show, man. This is
I love being here. I appreciate you having me on again. Sorry I didn't make it up to Utica.
No, hey, listen.
I had hoped, but working on this house has kept me pretty busy this winter. So
hey, there's always next season.
That's right. That's right.
You need a bit higher quality level of work there, Roy. You know, just it's
Yeah,
with the stuff falling down around
What?
you. I'm starting to question
Wait a minute.
It's only the cosmetic stuff. All the structural stuff is nice and sturdy. So
the bones are good.
know,
You're
all
telling
that
me the
matters.
bones are good.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Roy,
all
Roy,
right.
just tell them this isn't HGTV. All right, this is 315 Hockey Live. Settle down over there. You know?
That's right. That's right.
It's a home remake.
Jeez.
I like those shows.
You're gonna have to call him Dave the Contractor.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I could need some more power.
Yeah. Well, there was a Dave the Hammer, so there you go, right?
There you go. Hey, and
Yeah.
that's another guy that played in Roanoke.
There you go, right? Exactly.
That's right.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Roy, thank you again. We really appreciate it. And with that, we're going to close this show out. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed our Utica Comets Toronto Marlies preview. Once again, we want to thank Roy Chambers for coming on and updating us on the Southern Professional Hockey League. So for Dave the Save Warner, for Jordan Brockway, and for Roy Chambers, I'm Scott Kimball. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week on 315 Hockey Live.